Imagine two people, same salary, same city, same age. One of them, 10 years from now, has savings, a side project that pays, options. The other one is still living paycheck to paycheck, not because of bad luck, not because of bad intentions, because of convenience. We live in the most convenient time in human history. You can order food without talking to anyone, get a ride without walking to the street, watch any movie ever made from your couch, have groceries delivered in 30 minutes, pay bills without thinking about them. Everything that used to require effort now requires nothing, and we call that progress. But here's what nobody tells you. Convenience has a price, and it's not the delivery fee. Let me explain what I mean. There's a concept in economics called friction. Friction is anything that makes an action harder to do. A longer checkout line, a waiting period, a form to fill out. For most of history, friction was the enemy. Banks wanted to remove friction so you'd spend more easily. Apps wanted to remove friction so you'd stay longer. Advertisers wanted to remove friction so you'd buy without thinking, and they won. Between 2010 and 2020, the average American's impulse spending increased by over 40%, not because people got worse at managing money, but because the resistance between I want this and I bought this essentially disappeared. One tap, done. Friction wasn't just annoying. Friction was your brain's natural defense system. And we dismantled it completely. But it goes deeper than spending. Here's what's interesting about convenience. It doesn't just change how you buy things. It rewires how you handle discomfort. Think about what happens when you feel bored. 15 years ago, boredom was just boredom. You'd sit with it, let your mind wander, eventually do something, create something, figure something out. Now, boredom lasts about 4 seconds before you open your phone. The same thing happens with difficulty. When a task gets frustrating, you don't push through anymore. You switch apps, you check something else, you find the easier version. Researchers call this low frustration tolerance, and it's rising fast, especially in people who grew up in a world built for instant gratification. The uncomfortable truth is this: every time you escape discomfort with a tap, you're training yourself to be less capable of tolerating the exact kind of discomfort that builds anything worth having: a business, a skill, a relationship, a body. None of those things are convenient. There's an experiment from the 1970s you've probably heard of, the marshmallow test. A researcher offers a child 1 marshmallow now, or 2 marshmallows if they wait 15 minutes. The children who waited, who sat with the discomfort of wanting something and not having it, those children went on to have higher incomes, better health outcomes, stronger relationships decades later. The ability to delay gratification isn't a personality trait. It's a muscle, and like every muscle, it only grows when it's used. When everything around you is designed to deliver instantly, that muscle doesn't just stay weak, it atrophies. And you don't notice it happening, because at every step, things are easier, more comfortable, more frictionless, until you try to do something that actually matters. Let's make this concrete. Think about someone who wants to get in shape. They download a fitness app. They order meal delivery with healthy options already selected. They buy a home workout program. Everything is optimized, convenient, ready to go. And yet, 6 months later, nothing has changed. Why? Because the real barrier to getting in shape was never access to information or food or workouts. It was tolerating the discomfort of being bad at something, of being tired, of wanting to quit and not quitting. Convenience removed every external barrier, but it never touched the internal ones. And in some ways, it made them worse, because the person has now outsourced so many small decisions: what to eat, how to spend time, what to watch, that making a hard decision and sticking to it feels foreign. Here's the part that rarely gets talked about. Convenience doesn't just affect what you do, it affects who you become. Every action you take is a vote for a version of yourself. When you cook your own food, even badly, you're voting for a version of you that is capable. That can figure things out. When you sit with boredom without reaching for your phone, you're voting for a version of you that can tolerate uncertainty. That doesn't need constant stimulation. When you do the hard thing, when the easy thing is right there, you're voting for a version of you that has agency over your own behavior. None of these actions are about saving money, or productivity, or optimization. They're about who's in control. The economy of convenience works because it profits from exactly one thing: your preference for comfort over growth. Every subscription that automates a decision for you, every algorithm that chooses your next video, every service that eliminates a task from your life, all of it is subtly, invisibly, slowly, making you a slightly more passive participant in your own existence. And the irony is, the more you outsource your life, the more you need to outsource it, because you lose the confidence that comes from doing hard things yourself. It becomes a loop. Passive consumption replaces active engagement, scrolling replaces creating, ordering replaces making, watching replaces doing, and at the end of the month, the year, the decade, you're left with a life that happened to you, rather than a life you built. I'm not saying convenience is evil. Running water is convenient. Electricity is convenient. Antibiotics are convenient. The question is never, should I use the tool? The question is this tool serving me, or am I serving it? Are you using convenience to free up energy for the things that matter? Or are you using it to avoid the discomfort that produces growth? There's a difference between automating your bill payments so you can focus on building something meaningful and automating every mildly uncomfortable thing until your days are perfectly frictionless and completely empty of anything that challenges you. Here's what I think the most dangerous form of convenience actually is. It's not delivery apps. It's not streaming services. It's the comfortable story you tell yourself about why now isn't the right time, why you'll start after this weekend, after the summer, after things settle down. That story is the ultimate convenience because it requires nothing from you right now, and it costs you everything over time. The invisible price of convenience isn't a number. It's a version of you that never got built. It's the discomfort you avoided that would have made you more capable, the frustration you escaped that would have sharpened your thinking, the boredom you eliminated that might have sparked something. Every time the world made it easier, it also quietly made you softer, not weaker, just smaller than you could have been. And the worst part? You'll never know exactly what you traded away, because you never found out what was on the other side of the friction. So here's what I'd leave you with. Pick one thing, just one, where you've been choosing the easier version, not because it was better, just because it was easier. Ask yourself what the harder version would actually cost you, in time, in discomfort, in effort. Then ask what it might give back. You don't have to do anything with that answer today, but you should at least know what you're trading.